Good morning. Today I'd like to share a devotion on this story of David and Goliath. The story of David and Goliath is found in 1 Samuel 17. The Palestinians gathered their forces for war, and they pitched their tent. Saul and the Israelites assembled and camped on the opposite side and drew up their battle line to meet the Palestinians. The Palestinians occupied one hill and the Israelites another, with the valley between them. A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Palestinian camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. He had a bronze helmet on his head and wore a coat of scaled armor of bronze. And he had a bronze javelin slung on his back. The spear shaft was like a weaver's rod, and the iron point weighed 600 shekels. His shield bearer went ahead of him. Goliath stood and shouted to the ranks of the Israelites, "Why do you come out here and line up for battle? Am I not a Palestinian, and are you not the servants of Saul? Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will be your subjects. And if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us." And then the Palestinians said, "This day I defy the armies of Israel. Give me a man and let us fight together." On hearing the Palestinians' words, Saul and all the Israelites were dismayed and terrified. In my life, I've never lived through a pandemic. In fact, the word pandemic is far, far from what I'm normally accustomed to hearing. The Palestinians' words that called out to the Israelites and death and destruction, you can almost hear today. The only difference is that it comes from health professionals and medical people and political people warning us about the coming disaster. We see that Goliath is still calling and still spitting out lies of defeat and destruction. In Samuel 17, verse 46, David said to the Palestinians, "You come against me with a sword and a spear and a javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. That very day I will give the carcass of the Palestinian army to the birds and wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. And all those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." As the Palestinians moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly towards the battle lines to meet him. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Palestinians on the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. So David triumphed over the Palestinians with a sling and a stone, without a sword in his hand, and he struck down the Palestinian and killed him. Today we still see Davids and Goliaths fighting. Goliaths show up all the time and in many different ways. God always sends a hero to fight the giant. Some of the giant fighters today, or the Davids, are our healthcare workers, our truck drivers who are delivering medical equipment, our store workers who are making sure we have the provisions we need. And sometimes we forget to say thank you, like for the people who wipe down handrails and clean floors, and who feed us, and who do our wash, who make our beds. Those who are doing all of the work around United Zion and around our area to see that we can survive and that life will go on. In verse 51, David ran and stood over him. He took hold of the Palestinian sword and drew it from the sheath. After he killed him, he cut off his head with the sword. And when the Palestinians saw their hero was dead, they turned and ran. And then the men of Israel and Judah surged forward with a shout and pursued the Palestinians to the entrance of Gath. I'd like to say thank you to all the Davids that are in our world today. that are working hard, that are doing great things. The pressure is on, and you continue to work forward. You continue to wear your mask even when you're tired and you're overworked and you just want to go home. Thank you, all of you Davids who are fighting this war for us.